back to ibisPaintX, my favorite app of all time. Remember, hit gallery, then hit the plus sign, then hit the size you want. Now, there's one thing down here that I haven't shown you in a bit, which is the DPI. Down here at the bottom, you'll see it. DPI stands for dots per inch. And essentially what that means is that that is how much information you're seeing on your screen. And with only 72 dots per inch, your eye figures out what you're seeing. Now, this is a small phone. Well, it's big for a phone, but if you want your picture to look clear and not pixelated, not be able to see the individual pixels, if you make it bigger, then you will have to increase the DPI. That means that if you want to print it, if you want to hang it on the wall, something like that, then you're going to need to increase this to 300. Now that is a lot of storage for your phone, and it's a lot of storage for, say, a website. And so usually websites will require images to be 72 DPI. I'm going to leave that there because I'm not going to be printing this. If you do want to keep this and print it, I would say increase that and then change the size to be whatever you want it to be. I'm actually just going to pick my normal size that I always pick, use my 2-finger pinch to make it smaller, and then I'm going to get to work. I want to show you this other opportunity here for making a patterned background. The patterned background is important because this project is inspired by Kehinde Wiley, a contemporary artist still working today in New York City, who paints extremely realistic figures in front of and sometimes encroached upon by these bold, patterned backgrounds. The figures are special as well. He paints beautiful, strong, black figures in the central role. It flips systemic racism in the arts on its head. Look at that dominating power. And he used these incredibly detailed, very busy, very colorful patterns in his backgrounds of his paintings. And so I'm going to show you some options for making patterns. And so you'll notice down here it says symmetry ruler, and it has a white shape compared to a blank shape. Essentially what that means is that whatever you draw on one side of the line, it will be repeated on the other side of the line. So if you want to draw something where the image repeats as a grid, then you would choose this little guy over here, this grid shape. It will show up as a grid. If you want it to look like a mirror image or have bilateral symmetry, that means the two sides look alike, then you can pick that, which is especially fun if you've ever struggled with making two sides of a front-facing face look the same. Draw one side, automatically will draw the other side for you. I'm just going to show you really quickly how that's done. This plus sign here is where you can grab it to drag it around if you don't want the line directly in the center. And then as you draw, whatever you draw will be repeated on the other side. So you can see how this would be helpful for front-facing sorts of portraits. We're not necessarily going to be doing that kind, but it is quite useful if you struggle with that. And I would like to talk more about portraiture, but I'm not entirely sure that we would have time in this camp to really cover it well. So I'm not going to talk about it too much. So we're not going to really get into that. But you can see how this app will make your life easier in a variety of ways. I'm actually going to delete all this or hit the back arrow until it's all gone, because my point here is not making a face. My point here is to explain how to create a pattern using this app. So we're going back up here to the top right hand corner to click on the ruler. And we are going to go to the symmetry ruler, that second line down. I would like to show you how to do radial symmetry. Radial symmetry means that it's got a central point around which the patterns repeat again and again and again, like the rays of the sun. Radial symmetry, like the rays of the sun. Hopefully that mnemonic device can help you to remember what radial symmetry is. Now there's a division bar here. That means that this number here indicates how many times it will be repeated. And let's say we're going to repeat it 12 times. We also have our phase, which means that you can tilt it if you'd like. And then you can get to work. So for a background, I would like to create a pattern using colors that will make my foreground pop out. And because my foreground has a lot of these skin colors here, I don't want to use those. It won't really pop. Also has some purple for my hair. I don't want to use that. It won't really pop. However, purple and yellow are complementary colors, as we remember. Yellow might be just the right kind of background I'm looking for. And so let's check out what happens when I start to draw. The repetition happens immediately, and it is just beautiful. I can change my brush. I can change my color. But the great thing about this is that it automatically creates this pattern for you, so you don't have to worry about doing the exact same thing. The app does it for you. Isn't that beautiful? And you might be thinking, what if I want to change its color? If you struggle with ideas for what to draw, try to go back to the basic beginnings. Like, what are some of the basic lines? Short lines, thicker lines, zigzaggy lines, curvy lines. What are some of the simple shapes? Circles, rectangles, ovals, etc. I'm beginning to not like the purple. Yeah, the purple, it was a fun idea, just not into it, so I'm not gonna hit the trash can there. And add another layer. So some really fun stuff is starting to happen. It's just the sky's the limit. You can do so much neat stuff with I think I'm done. I am nowhere near the brilliance of Kehinde Wiley, but I think it's a pretty design. Quite pretty. Oh, wow. And then if you'd like to sign your name or something, just remember to turn off the ruler so that you can write on it. I'm going to save this, head back to my gallery, and now I am going to make a new canvas. On this layer, I am going to import a picture, the picture that I have just created, and I am going to import the picture of the transparent PNG. I do wish that I had more space, but here is the fun thing. Kehinde Wiley allowed the image to kind of crop on top of the image, and so these patterns can be layered on top. There are different kinds of blending modes, and I'm trying to explore those right now. Let's see what happens when we hit darken. Wow! Multiply? Oh my goodness! Color burn? Ooh, I like what it does with a shirt. Linear burn? Oh, I'm in love. Yeah, that's pretty cool. You can also do screen tones, which means just how the color is laid down. Like, for example, if you do dots, then it looks like it's printed on a newspaper, an old-timey newspaper. Sometimes it's just so fun to play with the options that are already preset in here. I love it, and I'm totally going with it. Save, and back to my gallery. And wow, I really created something cool. Let's see how it worked. Whoa! How fun. I hope you had fun turning this Rotoscoped Selfie into a Kehinde Wiley-inspired portrait where the background is bold and decorated. And I hope you learned a lot about art and expression and digital media. Bye!